welcome into Double Up. I'm Dubs Anderson alongside the one and only Geena, Lucille, and Geena. Great to get things going again. Another fantastic weekend ahead in the sport of racing. We'll touch on a couple of other topics, but first of all, I've got your flowers. Here they are. You have seen them fantastic from last week's episode of Double Up. Cash and nothing but winners. How you doing?
We both did. Dubs, between the both of us, we had the first, second, and third horse. I think we might have.
No.
I know. Let's go, Dubs. I mean, we're having fun doing it. Like the Vikings dance. I'm all about it.
Don't get your boy dancing here. Betters, we're going to do our best to get you up to speed. It's a collaboration. As Geena highlighted, we're going to have a bit of fun, take a look at some of the marquee races coming up this weekend, and hopefully give out a couple more winning selections here, if we will. But Geena, let's jump straight into it. Starting five big topics trending in the sport of racing. I want to get your thoughts on this week. James McDonald wins the Longines World's Best Jockey Top Honours, and you can feel the passion for me. I'm a little biased here. J-Mac, Kiwi rider, rides down under, Sydney, Australia, bounces between there and Hong Kong, but takes out the top award, and a sign of the time, some really strong jockeys down there in the Southern Hemisphere, and the second time he picks this one up.
Those jockeys, Dubs, they ride so tight. They're such great horsemen. And, he said he's won this award before, but he wasn't able to really hold on to those moments and grasp them. And I totally can relate, because when you're just grinding and trying to hit those goals, you forget about how you got those goals. So this next time around, he said that he was able to cherish more little memories here and there and kind of pick through, which I just think is so beautiful, because from a guy who came from milking cows and riding ponies on the back, like in the backyard, that's just such a story. That is the relatability that these jockeys have with everybody at home. Just, and you never know who you're going to inspire next.
Yeah, the run-ins I've had with J-Mac, he's absolute gentleman and one of the smartest minds in the game. So no surprises that he continues to have so much success. And when it's a Kiwi doing well, I'm very happy to say, he's one of us. He's one of us. But when they're beating us in the rugby, no, he's from New Zealand, I'm from Australia. But well done to James McDonald. I'd love to see some of those top riders from Australia come across to the States, but I really don't think they do so well. A lot of their racing is on the turf course, where the tactics are completely different. And right here in the States, it's all about having that speed and really trying to get after on the front end. So hopefully we get to see a showdown going into the future. One jockey you'd love to put J-Mac up against, Flavien Prat, the flying Frenchman. What a feat that he has hit for this season. 80th graded stakes win for 2024 last weekend. And I mean, he is at the top of his game. He is going to be around for another 10, 15 years. And if it's J-Mac in the Southern Hemisphere, the year Flavien Prat is having, wow, watch out. What a superstar.
Look, I mean, I have my little notes here, and $36,758,216 in 2024. Out of 223 starts, out of 1,013 starts, he's had 223 victories in the 20% win percentile. And for seconds, it's 185. And thirds, it's 131. So he has 53% win, place, or show with Flavien Prat. And coming in hot, it's like the Breeders' Cup Classic, Sierra Leone. He rode that horse beautifully. Flavien and Manu are just such a power couple, and I love them. They have such a great family life that he really works hard. He's a good human being. And I mean, I was cheering him on for Moira. I'm sure you guys could have heard me all the way in California from the desk at Churchill.
It's great to see, and it sort of has that snowball effect. It's the same thing for James McDonald. The better jockeys get the better mounts, they get the live opportunities, they collect more and more wins, and with that, the success really snowballs. And Flavien Prat, another great guy off the mounts there as well. Another class act when it comes to race day. So well done to Flavien Prat. One word answer, Geena. One word answer. If you've made the $36 million, I know Flavien doesn't get to take home all of that. He gets a certain percentage. But if you were to win that much for this season, what's the first thing you're buying?
A farm.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Because I love work. I love to work. I'm a farm girl.
I would have said jet ski, but yeah, the farm's probably
Jet
the
ski. No, wait a
sensible
minute. Is
lifestyle.
it the Kenny Power jet ski? Because if it's the Kenny Power jet ski,
You know what?
I'm all
I
in.
actually just I just jumped back in to a little bit of Kenny Powers last weekend. It's funny that you bring Kenny up. Maybe he's my inspiration. Man, some of the stuff Kenny comes out with. I don't know if you can get away with that in this day and age, but you love to see it. All right, next one in the starting five, Geena. Fierceness, ankle injury, undergoes surgery. All reports is now trending back in the right direction. One of the superstars in the sport.
Now, so my understanding is that Fierceness went to Kentucky to have some time off, which is, notably what they need when they have a career like him. And so he was turned out, and Fletcher had several, not just one, several vets take a look at his back hind ankle, and it was more of an elective surgery. So speculating as a horse owner and an athlete and someone who's had horses competing at high levels, I would say maybe it was just I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it was probably just a cartilage buildup or some type of cleaning out of the ankle. So yeah, he's supposed to be back. I mean, he's gonna miss the Pegasus and the Saudi races, but they want to look at the Met Mile and the Whitney and the Breeders' Cup Classic for next year.
Yeah, great to see that the plans are still to run ahead there in 2024. Speaking 2025, I should say, cannot believe we're already at 2025. Speaking of other superstars in the sport with plans going into the future, we saw that return for Wino Barrio at Gulfstream Park. Now sets aim at the Mr. Prospector before likely going to have a tilt at the Pegasus World Cup.
Saffy Joseph is excited about this horse again, and Irad Ortiz. We wonder who's going to stay on him coming into that race. I took a look at his workouts at Gulfstream, and they've been setting him up for really just kind of a knockout of the park there. Back in November, the 10th of November, he worked 5/8 a minute out of the gate, nice and quick. Just very good, quick maintenance, strong work. Coming back on the 17th of November, they had him working 35. So, just kind of testing where he's at physically. And that right there, to bounce back on the 8th of December and have a 37 flat work, that just tells you the horse is geared up for success, which is exciting to see because I'm a fan of this horse. He's really brilliant.
Yeah, it really is, and looked fantastic first up with that last effort as well. And to close out the starting five, we got a couple of Derby preps coming up this weekend. So let's jump in to our top three races coming into a new weekend of racing. And Geena, for today's episode of Double Up, we're going to be taking a look at the Springboard Mile out at Remington Park, the Los Alamitos Futurity on Saturday afternoon, and over at Turfway Park, pretty special evening card. We've got the Synthetic Championships, which has attracted some really strong looking lineups with a couple of Grade 1 to be featured there as well. So our three main events, we were seeing them well last week and hotter than hot, if you will. Let's start with Remington Park, the Springboard Mile. It's race number 12, goes off at 11:26 Eastern, and I tell you what, this one's going to go off on Friday, so hopefully you catch this episode before you jump into there. But looks to be a really strong field here for the 2-year-olds, going the distance of a mile, and got those Derby points attached to this one back in 2017. So a lot to like. And in terms of how we've seen these horses go on to that next season, the 3-year-old season, we've seen a couple of strong-looking types, notably in 2020 with Senor Buscador that comes to mind there. So, Geena, first thoughts when you saw the field here dropping for the Remington Springboard Mile?
I love the betting opportunities and options that we have in the Springboard and the other races that we're going to be talking about because, last week, we kind of had to go a little favorite heavy just because it was clear check marks on horses that were going to run well and just really bounce back in style. The Springboard Mile, it's going to be a hot pace, don't you think?
Yeah.
When you take a look
Yeah.
at it, we're going to have a lot of speed heavy in the beginning, starting with Speed King, the 3, coming in with 7-2 morning line. I loved this horse's gallop out in his last race. Didn't change leads. I didn't really care about that as much because he's a younger horse. He's got a lot of development to get. but very strong, good looking horse. And he's coming in at, one of the prices here, but Complex Music hasn't passed the State Course Company yet, but I respect Asmussen, and at a price, I think that that's actually more enticing for me to take would be Complex Cat. And the 11, Mr. Omaha, let me just scroll down here. Um,
Omaha. Mr.
I
Omaha's been on
know.
quite the streak. Three on the trot,
Yes.
looking to make it four as well. Sits there at 5-1, the morning line. So you like the chances of Mr. Omaha to keep it going?
I do. Very impressive performances. He runs off the pace. So having some of these horses where, I mean, it's going to be their first time going the distance and at such a fast pace too, because you have Medicine Dog and other horses like that. They'll probably be pushing the outside of the pace, being on the outside. I just love Omaha's tactability. So I would rather be on a horse that is more tactable on the outside and be able to kind of control and maneuver around of where I want to be. And
Yeah.
his speed figures, his speed numbers just keep climbing. So sometimes it's hard for me to pick a horse that's already hitting the 90s and 100s, at at a younger age, because I want to see them grow and then peak when 2025 comes. I don't want to see them peaking too early.
And that's the great thing about getting some of these races at the back end of the season for the 2-year-olds who are trying to get it together for 2025. It's not so much betting on what you have seen. It's more betting on that projected ability and taking that forward step that they've shown glimpses of, maybe being a superstar, but they didn't figure out the trip. They didn't get a great starting position. Maybe they didn't figure out a good ride with some of these previous races. And for us, that spells plenty of upside. So taking a quick scan over this field, Cold Battle from the inside will lead him out. Speed King, the 3 there, you highlighted for Ron Marquette, certainly going to be an early speed type to fit the name there as well, and broke the maiden in very impressive fashion over at Churchill the 1st of November. Dominant Spirit comes in for Brett Calhoun. I believe Asmussen has the 3 runners. He's got Complex Music, the 8 with Stuart Elliott aboard. Also conditions the outside runner, I believe, in Keno, who's likely going to be coming from off the pace. And what about a little Dougie O'Neill with Dr. Ruben M, the 9 at 6-1. Edwin Maldonado is going to fly across for this ride and certainly looked strong in getting that score last out. So, Geena, top endorsement for the Springboard Mile. Who's going to be that A selection and maybe a value play underneath?
I'm going with the 11, Mr. Omaha, for the
Yeah.
Springboard Mile.
Okay.
And
I
you
like it.
mentioned Dr. Rubin. The only thing I noticed in his last race was, Rank was right behind him. Rank is going to be running in another race coming up. But he was slowing down the lane, so the pace was really hot, really heavy coming down, and he was kind of backing up a little bit. So he really did just edge out that race. I would really like to see a horse that's going to be, if he's going to be running the distance, to just kind of run on and feel more comfortable. So he's kind of a question mark for me, Dr.
Okay.
Rubin, but he's done, he's been very sharp early on in his career, so he's a very smart horse, but he's going to have to show me, and I love Vino Rosso, but he's going to have to show me a little bit more going into 2025.
Yeah, no, fair call. I got to highlight it as a possible price play for this one. If
Yes.
Dougie's sending him across, he's showing up with a live one. I'll take the 3, Speed King, top endorsement, just has that 1 star, broke the maiden on debut and looked very professional in doing so. So it's the Speed King, number 3 for me, and Gina's going to go with Mr. Omaha, the number 11, and that's coming up this Friday, the Springboard Mile going off at 11:26. So think fast, act fast. You can play that one within the FanDuel Racing app and watch on FanDuel TV. So let's bring it out to the West Coast, Geena. This is where your boys at. West Coast, Best Coast. I was at Lucille earlier this week, not for the live racing, but we were taping out there on course. Beautiful track. I love getting out to some of these old ballparks, if you will. So much character, so much prestige, and surprise, surprise, out here on the West Coast. It always seems to be the talk about one name, one trainer in particular, and we were highlighting him there last week, Geena. Bob Baffert going to be tough to beat. He's got 3 of the 5 going in the Los Alamitos Futurity. It will be race number 8 coming up on Saturday afternoon. The 2-year-olds again going the distance of 1 mile and a 16th. The Hall of Famer will be seeking his 9th Futurity in his last 11 starts. So going to be tough to go against Bob yet again.
Bob is locked and loaded, and he really is already. I mean, coming in, it's a 5-horse field. I have sneaky suspicions that we probably will see a scratch, so it will,
Yeah.
possibly be a 4-horse field. But instead of just going over the whole field, let's just talk about gaming. We've got Flavian Pratt back aboard. He was on Chancer McPatrick's, won the Del Mar Futurity 2 races ago, and first race, 2 turns was the Breeders' Cup. He's better than that again, and this is the jockey of choice for gaming, and to come back, I feel like this horse. Well, I mean, he's the horse to beat. He's going to bounce back. He's going to be, even at his medium level days, he's going to perform. He's going to be very tough to beat. Now, Getaway Car, I don't ever dismiss Getaway Car. I've been such a fan of this horse. I think he's just so cool. But he's going to have the better trip on the outside. So, Getaway Car and gaming, they're the class of the field. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, don't overthink it. I think you've highlighted
Yeah.
the 2 big threats. Both runners exit the Breeders' Cup Juvenile that we saw early there in November down at the Seaside Oval. Citizen Ball obviously took that one up. I like gaming as the top threat. Probably going to go off at a very short price, but maybe a good opportunity on the wagering side of things just to take that single and the multis, survive, advance, moving on to the next one. So it sounds like we both like gaming. If Flavian Pratt's coming in for the ride, going to be a very tough out. You've got Mellencamp, the 2, Kazushi Kimura gets aboard for Bob Baffert. Bob's got the 3 in Getaway Car. That's probably going to be the other big contender going towards gaming there. We've got Rank coming in for Dougie Fresh, for Doug O'Neill. Still yet to break the maiden, so this is a very big spot. Going to have to take a massive step forward to contend here. And then Journalism for Michael McCarthy and the team was pretty impressive getting that maiden score last out. That was back on the 17th at Del Mar, and gets Umberto Rispoli aboard for the ride. So, Geena, we'll keep this one fast and furious, which I expect the tempo to be coming up for the Los Alamitos Futurity, going off at 7 o'clock Eastern on Saturday afternoon. Derby points on the line. The 2-year-olds trying to vie for their chance to run for the Roses next year. So with that, leaves us with one more marquee event, and we highlighted at the top there the Turfway Park Synthetic Championships coming up this weekend, and it looks to be a fantastic card out at Turfway Park this Saturday. If you haven't got any Saturday night plans, either get out to Turfway Park or just hit the couch. Maybe get a couple of sodas, Geena, maybe a bit of popcorn, and fire those tickets off, because it looks to be an absolute red-hot one out at Turfway.
I have not been out there yet, and I'm so ashamed because I'm on this side. I'm on the East Coast. I will be heading out there probably towards the end of the month, but I can't wait to see the new grandstand that they have. And I will say I have ridden over the track, and it is like a Tempur-Pedic plushy cloud of synthetic surface that
I'll run on that. Sounds
horses.
amazing.
Oh, it is, Dubs, and the horses just skip over it and they love it. If they don't love it, they don't love it. But if they love it, you're like, whoo, you just feel like you're skipping, like Ron Burgundy on those clouds when he's riding those unicorns, like
You've just thrown out 2 of my
Veronica.
all-time.
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy, we've thrown out Kenny Powers, and don't tell me that you've seen Old School in the last couple of weeks, because then we've got the trifecta.
Oh, no, I have not seen Old School yet.
Oh,
I've been a little busy traveling, but to jump back to Turfway, no, the track is beautiful. And someone who's ridden on it before they redid it in the new surface, I am just, it's, if it wasn't so cold, I'd probably be out on that track every day. But yeah, coming into the stakes, it's funny because the first race we talked about, lots of speed. This
yeah.
race here, the stakes race here at Turfway Park is going 1 mile and 16th. we're not going to see a ton of pace, and we're not going to see. These are horses that are just longevity, long runners. They could go a mile and a half, and some of them have. And starting off with Hush of a Storm, he's probably going to be more of the horse that carries the front end. But we have Flavian Pratt, who was aboard. Now we have Luan Machado, and well, we know where Pratt's going to be this weekend. So this horse, I kind of highlighted back in his allowance race in 2024 or March, excuse me, March.
Yeah.
He ran really well, and I like that for him. He had to carry the front pace, but he looked good. And at 8-1 on the inside with Brad Cox, you can't go wrong with that horse. I did not pick him, but you can't go wrong with him if you did.
I did pick him, Geena.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's my top play. This is actually best bet for
That's your
this
best
weekend
bet.
coming up. So if you've watched this far, Double, I'm thinking, Dubsy, where's your best bet?
Yeah.
Here it is, race number
Oh, I
6.
love it.
Yeah,
I can definitely endorse. I can definitely endorse this horse.
that's what I need, Geena. This is
You're
good energy.
welcome. Yes.
Things I love to hear, and I'll tell you what, if we can get that 8-1 morning line number as well, absolutely, it is a green light. Comes in for Brad Cox. I think the form has been sneaky good and gets a nice little spot from the inside. So this is race number 6, goes off at 8:49. What a Saturday afternoon. And we've got a classy looking field here, Geena. Like, just a quick scan through. We've got Exalted coming in for Peter Erden, Money Supply there for Joe Sharp, Hidden Stash at a big price, Stiletto Boy at 30-1, really hasn't shown a bunch of form coming back in there. We've got Wadsworth for the Godolphin team, the 7, another Brad Cox runner who's probably going to be a very tough out there with Flow in the irons. Noises Off, Paros, Wonderful Justice, Big Blue Line, Midnight West. The field just keeps going on and on. This one seems to be stacked, and I tell you what, it is a sign of the card that we're getting out here on Saturday at Turfway Park.
I love this race. I think the betting opportunities, the prices are going to be right. Come on down, the price is going to be right. Even Wadesworth is 7 at 3-1. This horse has been flying, and at this distance, coming, just really coming in strong with Florent Giroux. Like you said, I really like that horse, and you might be able to get a little bit of a better price. Mike Maker, the 9, Peros. Coming off of a bunch of victories there. The 11 for Will Walden. Okay, Big Blue Line, 20-1. This horse has a bouncing back ability, right? So you look back in 2023, he was campaigned, did really well, very successful. This horse has a chance to hit the board. He really does. And coming back, I'm not worried about this the Sycamore at Keeneland. I'm not worried about. He still ran 110, 92 buyers. We've got Joseph Ramos in the irons. I really like this horse. He's had some trouble trips, and he seems to bounce back when things open up for him. And I love the fact that he's on the outside, Turfway Park. We could see a long shot come in the 5-year-old gelding here.
Is this the price play, Geena?
It is. Yes, that's my price play.
Okay, Big Blue Line, price play, the 11 coming up in the Prairie Bayou, race number 6 there. I tell you what, Geena, if we can hit a little 20-1, I'm not drinking sodas on the couch. I'm getting the bottles of champagne.
The champagne, yeah.
If you know what I'm saying, little sippy cup. So, okay, you've given us a price play. I like the inside runner at a decent looking number as well. Hush of a Storm, the 1 at 8-1. Top endorsement, outside of those two, who's going to be the one for you to have at the top of the bingo card?
It's going to be the 7, Wadesworth. That's going to be that's the 7. That's going to be my top. Yep. Flavian Pratt, Brad Cox. Of course, horse is in good form. Horse for the course, as they say.
Two wins from 3 at Turfway Park as well. So something about the surroundings should absolutely eat it up there. So Wadesworth, the 7 coming up. Excited for a little week 15 in the National Football League. Really tough betting week. I think the Giants are live, grabbing the points, 16.5. It looks like Tommy DeVito, maybe getting that start again. So we like them in that spot. I like the Dolphins going against the Texans. I think the Texans have been a little underwhelming. And for Miami, they're just getting better and better. And game of the weekend for week 15, the Bills taking on the Lions. 2 heavyweights, 2 contenders, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the business. And we're not talking about Geena and Dubsy. We're talking Joshy Allen and Jared Goff. We're going to take Detroit to get it done at home with plenty of points. So, Geena, it's been a fast one. It's been a fun one. Appreciate you giving out all the analysis, hot tips here on Double Up. And again, bettors, horse players, if you're a fan of the NFL, whatever you're doing, however you found your way here to the FanDuel Racing page, let us know. What are you betting on? What are you jumping into? Who's your top jockey to watch out for coming into a new weekend of wagering and racing? Cannot wait. Springboard Mile, the Low South Futurity, and the Turfway Park Synthetic Championships. I can barely speak, Geena. What's new? That means we're probably done. Enjoy the weekend.